I don't want to miss anybody. And sorry, you're all seeing me looking a little sweaty and frumpy. Just how it is today. Everybody having a good Thursday though?
I get two recruits today.
Woo! Way to go.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks.
Listen, I don't care what anybody says. There are sales out there. I am not having any less than almost a $200 day every day.
Yeah.
And I'm more of a recruiter than I am a seller. I'll just say that. So if I'm doing that and people are needing a way to make extra money, there is business everywhere. We just have to get out from behind this computer and out of our houses and out there because they are looking for us. Let all my gals in. I'll give everybody like one more minute and then we'll start it. I just know sometimes I think my clock's a little quicker than everybody else's. And I know some are literally joining us on their lunch break. So I want to make sure they have a quick minute to get on. Welcome everybody who's hopping on. We're glad you're here. Listen, I need to update my Zoom picture because look, you guys all have these really pretty ones. I gotta update mine. I need to figure out how to do that. Me and my office girl, I don't know how to do that. She can update it for me. Like, listen, girl, find me a hot picture.
You mean when your camera's off picture?
Yes.
So you're talking about?
Yes.
Oh, your picture looks so good. Are you kidding me?
Oh my God. It's from forever ago. Probably when I originally signed up for Zoom umpteen million years ago. You know, you did it and then we didn't actually use it. Then COVID came, like, oh, I'm really going to have to do that. So I'm like, to make sure we get that. Okay. I think we got everybody in. One sent me a message. Sorry. She's like, I keep getting kicked out. I don't know. So if you're I'm not kicking anybody out. So if for whatever reason, if it's hanging up on you and making you come back in, I'm sorry. It might be, a connection issue because everyone can be on here. I'm not booting anybody out. So, well, we're going to go ahead and start because I know it literally is some people's lunch hour. Thank you to everybody who shows up to these, who sends suggestions and recommendations. We love this event because as some of us were chatting earlier that, it's every division, it's nationals, directors, consultants, anybody can be on here. The recording we put on YouTube. And then that's the one I post because it makes it easier. But if you just go to Jennifer Enlow on YouTube, you can subscribe. In case you don't know where to find it in the posting, if maybe someone just gave you this quick information of how to get on here, I post them weekly. So you can always go back and have the recordings because, sometimes this would be great for so-and-so, or my girlfriend was just asking about this and we want to make sure she has that information, and all the past ones are on there too. And it has their picture and their name. So if you heard about other ones and like, oh, they said you had to watch so-and-so, they're all there. And we'll just keep that going. And so thank you to everybody who has participated and been part to make this such a successful event. We are so honored and privileged today to have my sweet friend, Besa Regan, on today. She is phenomenal. We did kind of cross paths through a mutual friend and started chatting. And I don't know. I just, you ever just think sometimes God plants people in your life for a reason, not a season, but for a reason. And I definitely feel that way about my friend. She is the real deal. She is as wonderful and beautiful on the inside as she is on the outside. I tell her all the time, she should, I don't know all her past life things yet. We're getting to know each other. So I'm not going to tip into that because that might be part of her training. But one thing I have always told her, I'm like, man, one is amazing at technical stuff, but her training ability and how it comes across, Bessie, you are a master at that. And so I just want you to know that and how much I appreciate you for taking time to
Lunch and Learn is
really
starting now.
Oh, sorry, I'll mute somebody. Sorry. I thought I had everybody muted. Sorry, my friends. If you're not muted, mute yourself or I'll mute you. Sorry. I just want to make sure because it will create, sometimes we forget that we'll hear when we're talking to other people in the room. So I just appreciate you, girlfriend, for taking your time. And truly, this really is probably one of the most go-get things I think anybody can do, because it really is just your time, and we all know how valuable our time is. And so, friend, thank you, thank you, thank you for doing this for me. And I'm gonna let you take over.
Thank you. It's truly an honor. I adore you, and I love being on these when I can be on them, and I've watched replays. And if you haven't watched Jennifer's training that she did on recruiting, it is the best recruiting training I've ever heard. Like, I boxed her immediately, and I was like, girl, I need to listen to this every day. It was so good. So be sure to go back and check that out. Thanks, Linda Wicks. So sweet comments. So I thought, so I want you to know, I was, when she asked me, I was like, oh my gosh, why me? Like, I'm going to talk about two things today. Okay. I'm going to try to keep it to, I think she said 20-30 minutes ish. So, but two things I want to talk about. One is head game. Okay. We have to talk about the head game first. Second, I'm going to give some strategies for that you, if you're a consultant, that you can take, and a director, or it doesn't matter. I don't think it matters where you're at. If you're in the field and you want more from your business and you want it with ease, that's my superpower. Okay. But first I have to tell you this. Okay. So when she asked me if I would train, I was like, I would love to train. I went through all these things in my mind, and I'm going to tell you just very vulnerably that and I think most directors will say this, that we go through the same things as all of you. And so my own insecurities and stuff came out, and I was like, I don't have anything to brag about. Like, I don't have fabulous accolades. I'm not even in a car right now. Like, I don't have a quota sharing beat. Like, I don't have anything super spectacular. And I went through this sort of self-talk in my mind, and I was like, okay, Besa, like, okay, go back to it. Like snap out of it, because I had to remember, like, I want to tell you that those things don't make me worthy. Those aren't the things that make me worthy as a person, and they don't make you worthy as a person. And so I want to dive into this a little bit, because I don't know about you, but I've been a Mary Kay for 19 years. I have earned 4 cars. I am a sales director. I've been a sales director twice. I've stepped down and come back. This is my second time. So, but I tell you this because I think this is the hardest thing to learn, is that our title, our position, our accolades means nothing about who we are as a person. It means nothing about our worth. Okay. So if you get any message from this training, I hope you get that. But, so I wrote all this down because I got so nervous. I was like, and my brain started spinning, and I wanted to write it down because I want to make, like, possibly a course out of this at some point for my unit. But let me just start with a couple tips. Okay. So tip number 1, okay, is to come out of that place. If you have been in the place I was just in when she asked me to train, where you start to think the not enough thoughts. Okay. The not enough thoughts. Okay. So tip number 1 is to stop judging yourself. Now, I'm going to give you a mini version of my TED Talks. I'm sure someone has one out there about this, but I'm going to give you the mini version, okay? And I have to look down at my notes because I had to write it down so fast that my notes are really bad and I almost can't read them. That's how, like, it was spinning out of my mind to train for you. So this is where it starts when you stop judging yourself. It isn't a, like, switch, okay? But it starts with this, and this is going to go against what you've learned. And I'm just going to apologize in advance if I stir the pot, because I'm going to stir the pot a bit. Okay. But one is, stop using these words, these 4 words I'm about to say. You're going to write them down. Stop using these when describing people and emotions. Okay. And these are the words: good, bad. Actually, there's 6: right, wrong, positive, and negative. Those are actually judgment words. And I don't know if you know this, this is a very universal concept, but judgment will get you stuck every time. Judgment will get you stuck and keep you stuck. And when we use those words, and we do, I say me too, because I do it too, in our vocabulary, describing people like ourselves and our emotions and other people, you will be stuck with that person or yourself in that place, and you will not move through it. And so just a quick mini example of this, okay? Because we hear a lot. Thank you for your chats. I can see them. I'll try to answer questions if you pop them in there too, okay? we use these a lot when we describe people. Like, I mean, and it's not just in Mary Kay, it's in it's everywhere. It's in the personal growth world. It's in the self-help world. It's like totally this like kind of toxic positivity thing that's dangerous. And so I want to remind you of this is like, there isn't that, like, if you're having a bad day, like if your dog dies, okay, I'm a dog person. If you're a pet, if you have a pet, you know, the love of your pet, or like your child, whatever. I'm a dog person. Like, I love my dogs so much. And if my dog died, I would be devastated and I would need grieving time. Okay. Like, I would need a day. It would stop my world for a little bit. And that's okay, because I would need that time. But the reason I'm using this as an example is it's okay to be sad and angry and frustrated and go through the feelings of grief. It's okay to feel those things. The only way to heal is to feel. So if you're frustrated in your business and you're angry and frustrated and you're having all those emotions, those aren't negative emotions. They're not bad. They're part of the process to healing. And the only way you can get through those times in life is to feel the emotion. And guess what? Because you felt it and you were able to heal, you're going to come through it. That makes it a blessing. That makes it a blessing, folks. It is not negative to feel those things, but there's a lot of messaging in the world that says that you're being negative if you're doing whatever you're doing and those emotions are involved. Because anytime someone questions me on this, I'm like, okay, so if it's, so I had a friend that I said, so if it's not positive, it's what? And then of course, negative, right? So that's an all or nothing pattern that sets us all up for being stuck. So I hope that on some level resonates with you, because then when you go out and you can be really more vulnerable with people if you name the emotion instead of judging it with positive and negative. Because I really think those two words should only be used in accounting and math in school. I'm just telling you my feelings about it. Like, I should have a meme that says that. I'm not the only one, but I wanted to share that because it has to start with us not judging ourselves. So if you're in a place and you're not like satisfied with where you are and you're frustrated, ask yourself, okay, like name the feeling and say, I'm frustrated. And then once you name it, you're already moving through it. You're already moving through it. So if you're stuck in your business, you're not booking, or you're afraid to book or something like that, you want to just sit there, like realize, okay, wait, I'm feeling frustrated, sad, and angry that I'm not booking. And you can become aware that you might be beating yourself up. And then once you name it and claim it, you're already moving through it. You're already pushing past it because you're aware of it. It's when we judge it that we stop that process. We stop that emotional process that's so great for healing. Okay. So, okay. And I lost my spot here. So what I also wanted to say was, in this head game space a little bit, is that's my tip number one, but hang on a second. Tip number two. Yeah, my tip number two was eliminate using the words positive, negative, right, wrong, bad, or good when describing people and emotions. There are things that are bad. like I really don't like, what's a food I don't like? Gosh, I was gonna think of a food. Okay. I don't like going to our cabin. I think the cabin sucks. Sucks is another, adjective for bad. So, this is an example, okay? But that's the cabin, okay? That's not my son, my emotions, my friends, okay? You get it? All right. Now, side note, I just want you to hear this message. You don't ever, ever, ever have to justify to anyone how you feel or what your actions are. You don't have to justify that to anyone. Not your director, not your national. That's you don't have to do that. I just want you to hear that. And so this is something I'm anchoring in for myself that's really hard for me. What other people do or think or say about you are none of your business. It doesn't matter. It's none of your business. I am practicing this one hard. Okay. So let me repeat that. What other people do or think or say about you are none of your business. None. It doesn't even matter. So this is why you hear people like celebrities say, I don't even look at my Instagram comments. Why? Right? There's going to be something not nice said on there. Okay. Okay. And if you feel you need to constantly justify yourself to a person, that justification is an indicator that you're judging yourself, that you're not enoughing yourself. And so just ask yourself this question, just as a mini self-coaching question. Ask yourself, what do I get from justifying myself to, and fill in the blank with that person's name? Or maybe it's yourself. Do you find yourself justifying your thoughts or justifying your actions to you? Like, journal about it, let it go, like get it out on paper. You don't always realize what's going on, so you can free it up. Okay. Write down the feeling. Okay. Here's just a quick mini track that you can do to shift your thoughts and your emotions in the head game that's blessed me, that I can't take credit for. I coached for many years. I don't coach with her anymore, but I coached for many years with a lady named Teresa Romaine, and she taught me this track shifting. And so this is how it went. So if you realize you're in a stuck space emotionally, okay, you can usually feel it in your body first. When you feel it in your body always feels it first. Your head doesn't. Your body keeps the score. Okay. Your head won't register it till you learn how to self-coach and self-manage these emotions. So, but the first question is, like, if you feel it, I always feel it in my chest. And if you all know what I'm talking about, you have a body part that tells you, right? For me, it's my chest. So I always say, I'll go, oh my gosh, I can sense there's an emotional trigger that just happened. I'm upset. So the first question is, okay, first question, what am I feeling? And then you write down the feelings. And remember, feelings aren't good, bad, right, wrong, positive, or negative. Those are judgments. So get to the anchored feelings. I'm frustrated. I'm sad. I'm angry. I'm disappointed. Whatever it is, write it down. Okay. And then the next question to ask yourself is, what am I thinking that's creating those feelings? What's the thought that's creating those feelings? When you ask yourself that, it's going to come out. Then you're going to write it down. And then the next question. Okay. So let me back up so you can write this down if you want, because I don't have it somewhere. So what am I feeling? Then what am I thinking that's creating that feeling, those feelings? And then the next question is going to be, is that an accurate thought? And you have to ask yourself, is it actually true? And most likely it's not. Most likely it's not. Okay. And then the next question to move through it is, what's a more empowering thought? So I'm going to share with you a story really quick. I was at our camp. This was when we had camp. I was a Diane Underwood. Love Diane Underwood. She was my national for many years. She's retired. We had our camp, and we were supposed to like report our numbers to my friend, because she was in charge of the numbers for the count ups for camp, right? So quota sales, quota sharing and stuff. And I forgot to report my numbers, and I had consultants there. Okay. I will never forget this. This was one of those memories that I realized how much my subconscious mind took over my body and my actions. So I realized I forgot, and the quota sales went up, and I think quota sharing went up, and I would have been like top 3, I think, for the camp time. And I was like, okay. And I realized as the court went up that I wasn't in there. And I looked at my friend and I was like, I forgot to report my numbers. She's like, it's too late. And I felt it in my body. Like, I couldn't breathe. Like, it went into my chest, and I was like, and I went, and I felt like I was gonna ugly girl cry in like a minute. And I sat down, I was taking deep breaths, but I couldn't breathe right because I was so tight in my chest. I left camp. I walked out of the room. I went to my bedroom in our director area, and I sat down and I did this. And this is what came out. What am I feeling? And I was like, disappointed, angry, sad, frustrated. I mean, and I started crying because I hadn't given the energy to how I was feeling. So my body started to release. And then I wrote, what am I thinking? And my thought was this, and I had no awareness of it. It was, I'm afraid that Ange, one of my consultants that was there, is going to think her director sucks for not being in the top 10 at camp. That's exactly what I thought. The second I wrote it down, I went from like a 10 tightness in my chest to like a 3. It went just released. Okay. Yes. See, Victoria says it's her stomach. You get it. Okay. And then I wrote, what's a more empowering thought? And I remember I was like, she probably didn't even think that thought. And even if she did, it's not true. I don't suck. I'm awesome. Like, my little girl, whoever was triggered, came back, and I was like, okay. So I went back, funny enough, just to validate this, I ended up training on a class on booking, and I'm going to give you some tips on having an easy business here in just a little bit. And she was in the class, and I confessed this vulnerability that had just happened earlier that day in the class. And she looked at me when I said, and I thought Ange was going to think her director sucks for not being in the top 10. And she looked at me and she started laughing. She's like, I didn't think that thought at all. It never crossed my mind. And I didn't even need her to verify it, because even if she would have thought it, it still wasn't accurate, right? Because I don't suck, and it doesn't matter if I'm in the top 10, I'm awesome, right? So I mean, ladies, it was such a shift for me. And when you have those moments, you could easily do this 4-question track shifting method that Teresa taught me to shift your energy back. And this could happen when you're booking. It could happen when you're about to call a prospect. It could happen when you're about to talk to your director. Any of these things, shift your energy back so that you take your power back away from your subconscious mind, and you're clear of what's happening so you can move forward. Okay. So Lynette says it's her back. Right, Lynette? I mean, seriously, we all have that spot, right? Mine, I just stopped breathing and I'm like, oh. And then I had a good cry, and I went back and I had the best camp. But if I hadn't have done that, I might have been miserable the entire camp. There's a high chance it was that intense for me. Okay. Now, let me go back to here. I lost my spot. So just remember, what you resist persists. I know you've heard that, but that's where it comes back to. You have to feel to heal. And had I not felt the feelings I was having, I wouldn't have been able to move through them and healed, and realized I was making up stories, which a lot of the times that's what's happening for us. So, wow, I got through all these pages and didn't even look at it. This is why I was so focused on this. So okay, so let's talk about strategy and having an easy business. Okay. Because I think there's, like, for lack of a better way to say this, I'm not going to sugarcoat it, but there's kind of a hustle energy. There's a hustle energy sometimes in our business. It's not just our company. It's a lot of entrepreneurs, and hustle energy is when it's not an empowering energy. It's a burnout energy. Okay. And you can have peace and ease in your business, knowing when you know what to do, when you realize this very simple concept, that you actually have zero control over the outcome. I know we think we do, and the illusion is totally there, but you have zero control over whether someone says yes to you, whether they book, whether they sign up. You don't have control over that. The only thing you have control over is what you can control, is you and your presentation and your ask and how often you do it. What makes us feel so confident in that we know our business is we know if we, like, I know if I make 5 booking calls today, I'm going to get a booking on average. I know that. I've tracked it. Okay. I don't know who it's going to be. I don't know. I have no idea, but that's where you have to lean into faith. That's where faith comes into play. Okay. But the only thing you can master, and I tell my consultants this, like, the really only thing you have to master in our business is the ask. You have to master the ask. And it isn't how you ask. It's truly the courage to ask. Because sometimes we think it's going to be this perfect script. It's not. It's not going to be the perfect script. I think the biggest mistake we make, and especially new consultants, and I did it because, just remember, if you're new on here watching, we were all new at some point. So we all did it. We, like, borrowed someone's script and we sounded like someone else. Okay. We sounded like someone else. When the simplicity is, when you go to ask someone, if you're being yourself and you're being your vulnerable, open, authentic self, people are attracted to that. They want to be in your space. Okay. Learn to be a master asker. Yeah. Learn to be a master asker. That's exactly right. So they want to be in your space and you're vulnerable. So when you get a script from, like, your director, go back through it, read it, check your body, and make sure it resonates with you, and put in your words, because that's going to change everything for you. It's a game changer. I've done that with consultants before, because they hesitate and they don't get the results that they want for 2 reasons. They're not asking the numbers. You're not asking the numbers. You might have asked 3 people and said, oh, I did it. But 3 isn't, and I mean this, like, literally isn't enough. Okay. It isn't not enough. You're not enough. It's literally not enough to get the results you want if you want to do something with your business. But when you're talking about, like, going out to book, that's the one thing you got to master, is how to ask. And then the next part is going to be how to respond, so you know what the response is. Okay. So I want to get into this a little bit, but hold on one second. There's something I really wanted to share with you. And I had Okay, there's just a quick quote. There's this book I read called The Energy of Money by Maria Nemeth. I haven't read the whole thing. I'm like in the first third of it. Such a good book, okay? So she said this in there. She said, life is hard when you don't do what you truly value because you're putting all your energy into trying to get rid of your fears. This is like a mic drop, right? Rather than into materializing your dreams. So sometimes you're writing the script because you're writing it to make it, because you're afraid of how she's going to respond. She's going to respond the same way, most likely. Just so you know, they're only going to respond the responses are all the same. I don't have time. I'm not interested. Yes. Like it's just, I broke out, whatever. They're all the same all the time. They don't change. Okay. So when you have a strategy to respond and you know how to ask and you're confident in the ask, you're going to have a whole different business. Okay. So back to what I wanted to get to. Okay. Gosh, you should see these crazy notes, girls. Okay. So this is as simple as it can be. And I always think of, I remember a director saying, and I realized this very early on, when you go to book and you have a strategy. So I want to talk about ease right now, really quick before we stop. So I know we're approaching that 30-minute, I think. I know we started a little after, but is to have a business with ease, you got to let go of the outcome and you have to walk in faith in that. That's probably the hardest walk we have. It's the hardest thing we practice in entrepreneurs is when I go into a facial and an appointment, I've let go of, I don't care if she books or buy, I don't care. I'm going to give my best to her. And at the end, she's going to do what she's going to do, but I'm going to master what I can do, which is know my presentation, know how to ask for the second appointment, know how to share the sets. I'm going to master that part. That's what my job. Her job is to make the decision for herself. That's her job. There's no control after that. Okay. But back to the script thing. When you go to book someone, it could just be this simple. It could be like, hey, Jennifer girl, I just started Mary Kay and I have to practice. Can I borrow your face? That's it. Let's not make it complicated. That's it. Can I borrow your face? Then she asks the next question. Okay, maybe tell me more. Like the people might want to need more information. Then do you know what you're going to say? Like, I know what I'm going to say. It's going to be, okay, cool. What it is, it's, if it's virtual, I'd say, I send you this customized skincare packet and we go over it on Zoom and I get to practice my presentation. It's really fun. Like something simple that describes it, that you know, that's how you describe it. And what you can do, ladies, by the way, if your consultants haven't done this, you can set up your text replacement for this. Okay. Text replacement is a blessing for you that will save you a ton of time. If you don't know how to do that, ask me after. I will happily show you. It is a blessing. Okay. And then, okay, let's see. The key to the good booking here is to finish with a question. But here's what I want to tell you. This is what I want to close with. This is how you have ease. It's not only letting go of the outcome and trusting the process, fully trusting the process. It's this simple. This is what I used to do. And this is what I want to close with. And I challenge anyone on here that if you're stuck right now and you need a place to start having wins, is mastering the ask. And this is what I did when I was stuck. And I may even jump back into this right now. I've got things happening, but not to the level I want. I want more. So I took a blank calendar. Okay. And it had 30 days on it for the month, 31 days. You can print one off online. Just go Google like a generic calendar. And I printed that out every month. And Monday through Friday, I made 5 booking attempts a day, Monday through Friday. I didn't do Saturday, Sunday. You could if you wanted. I did 5 or more. And I wrote the affirmation above it that said, I contact 5 or more every day, Monday through Friday. It was something like that. And I gave myself a sticker like I was in 2nd grade. I gave myself a sticker when I did 5 booking attempts, and it didn't matter if they answered, it just didn't matter. But here's what happened. I did that Monday through Friday because I just didn't feel like I could win, and I was stuck in an all or nothing pattern. And if you're stuck in an all or nothing pattern, you're doing all or you're doing nothing. And we both know they're both doing something, but one's not netting anything, right? So the thing is, I gave myself a sticker after 30 days because I knew that I'd average 1 every 5 attempts. I was getting about 5 bookings a week. So 5 bookings a week times the 4 weeks netted me 20 bookings. Okay. Now facials or parties didn't matter. It just appointments. Okay. Because at this point, I just wanted appointments, right? You just want to see faces. Then I did it another month. Okay. And that doesn't include, I went to have the appointments and I booked second appointments, right? So I did another month that netted me another 20 on top of what I had in my books. I couldn't even get through the third month of just spending 5 to at the most 15, 20 minutes of booking time a day. And if consultants were taught this, because that kind of ease could create a car, and those of you that have earned a car know that it can, because 20 bookings in a month is going to have you hold about 10, right? I mean, and virtually, I think it's even better because I have a high hold rate on virtual, way higher hold rate. So if your consultants could learn that and they could work their business with ease that way, I mean, how much more attractive is the business instead of maybe a little bit of hustle energy happening? We could let that go a bit because you could have ease. Now, don't get me wrong. Hustle doesn't mean not working hard. There's a difference between working purposeful with speed than hustling. There's a very different energy to it. So you can have ease in your business. You can have peace in your business. There will be times you're working towards a goal that you'll have like some fun energy happening, but it doesn't have to be like that all the time. It doesn't have to burn you out. And it could be as simple as 5 a day or even 2 or 1. I did a training on 1 and it's still powerful turnout. So, okay. I want to honor time. I know there was so much I had in this notes, but I think I slammed it in somehow. But I would say prepare enough to care and work track shift to shift, because that'll shift a lot of things. I'm just looking in the chat here to see if anything, and Jennifer, if you want to add anything, you sure can.
Yeah, I'm looking.
So.
See, yes, I think the biggest thing, my takeaway, I don't just think in this, it was crazy because I had another girlfriend director call me right before this, Besa. She's like, I just want to pick your brain. And I'm literally going to send her this recording because isn't it funny how God works sometimes? And I'm like, everything she needs to hear was literally what you just did. And I was like, when you started, I was like, oh, and she can't be on it this time anyway, but I'm going to send that to her because this was a God saying, here, hold on, Jen, I'll give you what you need for her. So I'm going to share that. But here's the biggest thing takeaway for me this year and from today that I've had to tell myself over and over and over, especially if you're a competitive spirit. Anybody else on here competitive spirit? You are not the scoreboard. You are not your production. You are not your car. What you are is a gift from God that was planted here to lead. So for God's sakes, lead. That's what he wants to do. And how that looks for you is going to be different weekly, monthly, yearly. And we have to remember, we're not always going to be on the mountaintop, and that's okay. That's where we learn. We learn in the valleys anyway. So I get my best grit when I'm not where I think I should be. So thank you so much, Besa, for all these ideas, all these things. She's phenomenal. Yes. So I'm going to open it up for a couple minutes for anybody else that, I don't know, has a question or wants to affirm Besa or anything you want to say.
I have a question.
Yep.
Could you transfer that text replacement instructions to Jenny and she can dispense it for us?
You know what? You're better off going to Google because it's right there. If you Google text replacement for Android or text replacement for Apple, it'll pop the instructions right on the front of that. Because it's
excellent. Thank you so
it'll
much.
give you the step-by-step better that way than me typing it. You'll get it way faster. So
excellent.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
And I just want to say this, like for those of you that aren't booking, and I know if you're if you think I don't know, I know because I've done it. I've had snow blindness. The date book's white, right? I'm just going to tell you the thing that will ease your mind is if you know your script and you know how to respond. And if you have them set up in text replacement, you won't have to think so hard about it, especially if you're a feeler. I'm a feeler. Booking drains me. It emotionally drains me. So because you get all kinds of weird responses, right? And then you get the people of the world that are not in good places and then they take it out on you. And that just happens. But not a lot, but enough to stunt you sometimes if you're a feeler and maybe thinkers too. I'm not sure. But if you're prepared on what to say in your text replacement, you'll have that freedom of knowing like, okay, shoot that text out and it's done. and you're ready. Do you know what I mean? It'll take away that so much of that effect of that. So I didn't mean to talk over. Someone else have a question. And I wanted to share one more thing with you.
Yeah.
From that book, okay. She says the key to an easy life is to learn to use fear and discomfort as teachers.
Mm.
And that's true. That's so true. Okay. Who else has a question or something they want to share?
I have a question, and
Yeah.
thank you, first of all. You had the 3 questions, and then you said, what's an empowering thought? And then I don't know that you've finished that.
Oh, okay. So do you mean the questions or the empowering thought?
The empowering thought, because you did the 3 questions, and then I thought the 4th was what's an empowering thought?
I think it was. So first question was, what am I feeling? Second question, what am I thinking that's creating those feelings? Third question was, is that an accurate thought? And then the fourth question was, is this, what's a more empowering thought? What's an accurate empowering thought?
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Is that what you were
Okay.
asking?
So then that meant
Yeah.
you phrased your original thought.
You would rephrase, like, so for me, it was, oh, well, my first, in the process of my example with my consultant at camp, it was, oh, she's probably not thinking that. Like, it became funny, because my brain went, who really is thinking that? Like, she's probably not thinking that. The more empowering thought was, like, I know I'm in the top 10. I don't need everyone else to know. You know what I'm saying? Like, I knew I was.
Yes.
So that was the more empowering thought, was owning my power about my achievement for camp. Does that help? Was that Sandy?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's a game
Besa, what
changer.
was the name of the author again of that book?
The book that I quoted from was, it's called The Energy of Money by Maria Nemeth.
Okay.
And it's really good. It does really good goal work in there. I mean, it will reframe how we ever taught on goals. Ever. It's so good. I highly recommend it. So Maria Nemeth, Deborah asked. So I'll put it in the notes here so they can see it.
That's awesome. Well, I hope everyone else got just as much as I did out of today. I thought it was phenomenal. Sandy, I see your message. Thank you for sharing that with them. I appreciate you on that. Yes, because anyone can be on here. I don't care. Anybody and everybody. And I love how these have taken off. And that's really to all of you. Thank you for sharing with your power partners, your sister girlfriends. We all, I don't know, we all want to be in it together, right? We want to be here for each other and not feel like we're alone or on that island where sometimes we don't have nationals or things to connect us. And so I hope this is beneficial to everybody. And Besa, you know how much I love your face. I love your guts. I love everything about you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for taking your time. And this was so powerful today. And she was. Besa was like, what do you want me to train on? What? I said, listen to me. I'm telling you, you got what people need to hear. And everybody has something. And so always remember how valuable you are, my friend, and what a blessing you are to others. So I hope you all have an amazing Thursday and rock the rest of this Rocktober and max out all those double credits and go shine bright, my friends. Have an amazing day.
Bye. Thank you.